My name is Bree. I'm 28 years old, and I'm at the POTS Research Center in Dallas, Texas. It is March 6th, 2019. I started feeling the symptoms of POTS when I was about 14 years old. I remember having a really hard time exercising, feeling very lightheaded, and I was a very active kid, so it was really hard for me, but I pushed through those things and managed to live a decent life up until I was 18. When I was 18, I started passing out very regularly. In fact, it got to the point where it was multiple times a day, and I moved home. I was living in Colorado going to college and ended up moving back to Montana to move back home and in with my parents because the passing out was not manageable. I was passing out many, many times a day. I was taken to many doctors. I was put on a couple of beta blocker prescriptions that gave me non-epileptic seizures, and ultimately decided medication was not the way to go and that we needed answers. So that's why we went to the Mayo Clinic. Being tested at the Mayo Clinic was very intense and rigorous and traumatizing, and still don't like doctors except for Dr. Cipriano and Dr. Townsend now to this day, because it was pretty traumatizing to go through the process. They did diagnose me with POTS, but did not give me a lot of treatment issue. They didn't give me a treatment program. I wasn't able to see any progress of any kind. It was basically just, you're going to grow out of this eventually, so just hang in there and you'll grow out of it. And I did. I grew out of a lot of the passing out. There was a couple years there where I remember going to my brother's basketball games in a wheelchair, and I got to the point where I didn't have to do that anymore. I was able to move around and do things on my own and drive again, and so I just thought that I was outgrowing it, and I thought that eventually I wouldn't feel these feelings anymore. So cut to a couple years ago, I got my dream job, and I'm working for a wonderful company who has been really patient with me through this process, but I've had to miss weeks and even at one point months of work, and it was just horrible. It was horrible for the people I worked with. It's horrible for me waking up every day not being able to function because I would sit up from laying down in bed and I was super lightheaded, and I would stand up from sitting down and I would just black out, and I didn't know why this kept happening, and it was just so frustrating. So last year my grandma suggested, after I was sick, that I might try this treatment program. I thought it was expensive, and the trip is a lot of money, and at that time it just wasn't going to work, and so I hung in there again for another year. And it happened again earlier this year, 2019, in January. I missed a week of work because of the POTS and because of being lightheaded and tachycardia, just sitting, and all of a sudden my heart racing and sweaty palms all the time, and things I didn't even know were wrong with me that they pointed out when I got here. And all I can say is that it's worth every penny. It's worth the trip. It's worth, when you don't know how to help yourself, having an expert sit down and tell you exactly what you need to do to make it better is super empowering, and it's life-changing. And I started last week, so I think I started on the 25th of February, and on the 26th I remember distinctly feeling blood flow in my hands and feet. To say that you feel it, everybody feels, something at some point, but I think to actually know that there was circulation going to my hands and feet was a really interesting sensation. And that's when I knew that this program was already helping me. By Thursday, the 28th, I was able to stand up from a seated position without feeling lightheaded at all. And I didn't feel like blacking out, and I didn't feel bad. I just felt good. And I was able to enjoy an awesome evening with my dad at medieval times and did not feel sick. I just didn't feel sick at all. And for me, I truly felt lightheaded every day of my life. I felt it in every single moment that I would move. And so this program has, in 1 week, completely changed my outlook on my future. It's given me hope. I think it's going to better my relationship with my husband and my dog, and I'm going to be able to walk her. I'm just so grateful to everybody here. And if you're suffering, help yourself. Help yourself, because money comes and goes, but these health issues, they teach you everything you need to know to be able to live a normal life. And that's something that the people who suffer with dysautonomia and POTS, they don't have a good quality of life. And I didn't even know that mine wasn't good. I didn't even know that I wasn't living a good quality life. I thought what I was experiencing was what a lot of people experienced. I thought it was normal to feel lightheaded all the time. And it's not. And it really affects your mental well-being. And it's just not worth it at all. You need to come get help, because it is proven. And it works fast. So fast. And it'll change your life. And I just can't suggest it enough to people who suffer with this. I would do it all over again 10 times if it meant that I would feel this good coming out of it, but I only had to do it once. So I know there are people out there who are suffering with worse symptoms than me now, because I have outgrown a lot of the really extreme symptoms that I used to have. If you're one of those extreme cases, just do yourself a favor and skip the rest of the doctors. Just don't, because they're not experts in what they're doing. Dr. Cipriano is an expert in treating people with what we have with these symptoms, and you will not ever regret coming and learning and being able to control how you feel. And it's very empowering to know that all I have to do is take my time and practice the exercises and put effort into my health in these specific ways they tell you to put effort in, and it works, and it works fast. So if you're suffering at all from postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome or anything else that they can treat here, I would suggest coming 1,000 times over, definitely. So thank you so much, Dr. Cipriano, Dr. Townsend, the nurses here. I'm just so grateful for everything that I've learned, and that I'm going to be able to go home and live a whole new, way better quality of life, and spend much better quality time with my family and loved ones, and hopefully not have to take any more work vacation because I'm sick. I want to go on an actual vacation. So thank you again, and God bless.